Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis is one of the most iconic games of all time. From the luscious Green Hill Zone to the eerie Scrap Brain Zone, it's a treat all around. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Master System and Sega Game Gear is absolutely terrifying. From the "yep, that sure is Green Hill Zone" to the "why does this exist, I can't take it anymore" of Scrap Brain Zone. It's a nightmare all around. I'm just exaggerating. Sonic 1 and 2 on the 8-bit Sega consoles are pretty fine games. Not great, not bad, just fine. Beginning with Sonic 1, it was released on October 25th, 1991 for the Sega Master System in Europe and December 28th on the Sega Game Gear across the world. I don't know how to continue the introduction, let's just get into Sonic 1. Well, I already know that this is better than the Genesis version. There's a press start icon. With the Master System being weaker than the Genesis, it was obvious that the game was going to suffer graphically. And while it did, I think they did a good job demaking the sprites here. While it looks far more bland for the hardware, I'd say it still looks fantastic. You still have the spiky grass, the sunflowers, and the palm trees work really well here. The background could have used some work, but hey, they were working on 8-bit hardware here, who cares? Sonic's speed and momentum were also well ported here. He still starts off with a jog and smoothly transitions into a full run. He also gains momentum from going down slopes, which maybe he gets a bit too much momentum to where the entire stage becomes beatable in 24 seconds, but hey, it's better than Sonic Forces at least. Glad to see that the spike glitch is still here. Of course, the boss fights are a bit different since programming a Wrecking Ball must have been difficult on the Master System. Well, it's time to move on to Marble Zone. Yeah, for some reason a majority of the stages in this game are different from the Genesis version, which I don't understand because they're trying to tell me that Starlight Zone can't run on the Master System, but Labyrinth can. No. Bridge Zone is pretty fine though, but I do want to bring up something real quick. When you start a zone, it shows the name of the level without the zone portion. So we have Green Hill, then we have Bridge, Jungle, Labyrinth. Bridge Zone is pretty okay. It's basically a version of Green Hill with more bridges this time around and these things. Oh, and when you get to the second act,
I am having a very bad day. I'm in no.
the special stages are far more bearable in this version of the game. To get these, you have to finish a stage with 50 or 100 rings, because if you have 102 rings, nobody cares about you. You're a loser. If you did it correctly, the signpost will have an exclamation point instead of Sonic or Robotnik. These stages are definitely different from the Genesis special stages, and people will most likely agree with me on this one, but these are way more bearable than the Genesis stages. There's no rotating court while you're in a ball at all times, and it springs everywhere. Fair trade-off? Maybe. After Bridge Zone, the next original stage is Jungle Zone. Normal people are probably going to say this zone means nothing and it's easier than paying off your mortgage, but I say I've lost my integrity. I have no clue why, but on my playthrough of this game, my Jungle Zone footage is almost 40 minutes long. How does someone stay on Jungle Zone for almost 40 minutes? During the second act, we get Sonic Colors Ultimate leaked footage, and I spent 15 minutes on this stage before giving up. Then I spent an extra 12 minutes on the boss. We all know about Labyrinth Zone. Let's just leave it at that. The boss is bad. It's time to move on. After the annoying 8-bit press buttons around the level version of Scrap Brain, we move on to the true final level, Sky Base Zone. With epilepsies and bottomless pits galore, the boss is just the one from Sonic CD. Oh look, I'm done with the game already! Good grief, that was way too short to make a video up to 8 minutes. Sonic 1 on the Game Gear had a few differences to its Master System counterpart. First off, Sonic's sprite has been slightly redesigned so that his nose doesn't exist. The screen is far closer to Sonic since the Game Gear was on a really tiny screen, and not a CRT TV. So simply putting the Master System version on the Game Gear would make the game nearly unplayable. That's it. Those are the only changes. Well, actually, they did add the Sega chant at the beginning of the game. On to Sonic 2. Sonic 2 8-bit is familiar territory for me. Back when the Wii Shop channel was the thing I would browse around looking for games to download. One day, I wanted to get Sonic 2, but there were two different versions of the game. One had a generic blue screen behind the logo, while the other had a luscious ocean with islands in the background. Which one did I buy? I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to buy the one where Sonic's doing the peace sign? Sonic 2 on the Game Gear has a plot this time unlike its older brother. Eggman kidnaps Tails. Alright, moving on to the Underground Zone. For some reason on the title cards, they have Tails being shown despite us having to rescue him and not running alongside him. What does this imply? Well, once you start, you notice multiple things off the bat. 1. This ain't no Emerald Hill Zone. Since Sonic 2 was released on the Game Gear before the Genesis version, I believe they didn't have a reference for Sonic 2 like how they did for Sonic 1. So this really isn't 8-bit Sonic 2, this is more 8-bit Sonic 2. Sonic 2 doesn't have a spin dash unlike his Genesis counterpart, which did confuse me as a kid, but you do get used to it. However, to make up for this, his roll is immune to spikes. I never kept this. I liked this. Unlike its older brother, Sonic 2 doesn't make me want to rip my hair out. Most of the time. A majority of the time, I was doing fine. The game's difficulty wasn't as high, the hang gliders were pretty dumb, but I got used to it pretty quickly. Then I got to Aqua Lake. And oh boy, I got to Aqua Lake alright. Act 1 was pretty okay, there was nothing much here, but then I got to Act 2. Death. When I got here, this is where the game went into pure sicko mode. I don't know if it's just me, but these parts where you go into these bubbles terrifies me. You have to move around and make it to the top, but instead of just moving left to right, you have to slow down by holding down most of the time. That's awful! And Green Hill is back. You think people complain about Green Hill Zone in the games now? Imagine if Sonic 2 started that trend. At this point, the new Borderlands would have been out, and the moment that you begin the campaign, you start in Green Hill Zone. After going through pain realizing that I have to wait for this thing to come back after trying to do this platforming part for like 15 minutes, we get to the final stage. Scrambled Egg Zone. We go through these tubes to find a correct path and... There's another zone?! So it looks like we have to go through these linking log things to go through the tubes that Sonic's going through to hit Robotnik, and the day is saved. Except Tails dies if you don't get the Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, so remember how I said this game is about rescuing Tails? Well, if you fail to get the Chaos Emeralds, which everyone did, let's not kid ourselves here, Sonic will run on his own in the credits, and when he looks up at the sky, he sees a constellation forming Tails' face, implying Tails has died. Unless you do get all the Chaos Emeralds, then it shows both Sonic and Tails. What does this mean? Was it an oversight? Probably that, or Sega wanted to scare the crap out of some kid. Sonic 2 is definitely more complicated than Sonic 1 here, but I'd say that it's far superior. Although it has parts that make me want to quit before completing, which I did, the difficulty spikes aren't as bad. The music is better in my opinion, I like the gimmicks in the zone, most of them, and I enjoy that all the zones are unique unlike Sonic 1. It makes it more special, you know? I forgot to talk about the music. Music's fine. The ending theme of Sonic 2 is pretty good though. Ah, great. There's no way that I can make this all into an 8-minute video. I need one more Master System game to go over. No, not that one. Something obscure. Something that almost nobody knows about. Something that doesn't exist. Wow, aren't you the funny guy? Sonic Edusoft was an unreleased educational Sonic game for the Master System. The game was pretty much finished and it's unknown why it wasn't released. Probably because nobody outside of Europe cared for the Master System. We start in this hub world that uses the Genesis Sonic sprites for some reason. The game looks colorful. If you told me that this ran on a Sega Genesis, I would probably believe you. Going over to this X, Sonic Edusoft is all about learning. No, unfortunately, we aren't learning how Sonic would meet the Joker. We're instead learning about math and letters. 5 times 4.
21.
We play as Sonic and we need to race to the finish before this Motobug does. But to do so, we'll need to do some math. We're given a problem and we need to choose the correct answer on the screen to progress. If we get it wrong, the Motobug catches up. The way that you select a number here is really awkward. Instead of moving the D-pad around to choose a number like it's a main menu, each number is assigned to an input. If you press up, you go to 22. If you press right, you go to 21, down is 19, etc. However, this makes things a bit tough for the directions that don't have a proper button. If I want to choose 18, I have to press both left and down on the exact same frame. So if it's just slightly off, it takes me to 22 or 24. Good luck playing this on an analog stick. Each race we complete, we earn a star. In order to progress, we need to get more. It's Sonic Lost World, everybody! There are also races where we need to learn how to spell words. It uses the same style of selecting as the math race, unfortunately. But these words are easier than me typing out the script. Oil. Boat. Sit. Ship. There are also some mini games that I didn't know existed until looking at the Sonic Retro page. Watching gameplay of them... yeah, this isn't worth opening the game again for. Sonic Edusoft is the most mediocre, run-of-the-mill education game that I've ever played. And I owned a Leapster as a kid. That's saying something. It's just standard math questions with no pizzazz or something to help it stand out. You know, I'm starting to see why this was canceled. And those were just some of the 8-bit Sonic games from the 90s. It was pretty fun going through these again. If people actually care enough to enjoy this, I might talk about more of these in the future. Now, would I recommend you playing these? No! Their difficulty level is far too high, especially for something like the Game Gear, which only had like 40 minutes of battery, so if you wanted to play Sonic 1 past Jungle Zone, sorry man, you're out of luck. And I'm sorry, but a majority of these zone themes are far worse than the ones on the Genesis, especially in Sonic 1. If you want to play these for fun for like 10 minutes, sure, go for it. But don't go out of your way to complete these unless you really want to. In conclusion, I don't want to experience these ever again. To be honest, I'd rather play Sonic Omens than play these again.
I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's out.
I take that back.